My husband promised we'd share everything equally. But after I paid off his student loans, he filed for divorce and told the judge she manipulated me with money. His sister said in court, "She's lying. She trapped him." I sat there with the screenshots of their messages planning this for years. I stood up and said, "Your game ends when I show the judge what's in this envelope." I'm 37, from a suburb just outside Portland, Oregon. I've worked in real estate since I was 25. I own my own house, have no debt, and before all this started, I had over $100,000 saved. I was proud of that. I didn't come from much. My mom cleaned hospital rooms. My dad took off when I was a kid. I worked since I was 16, waited tables, did receptionist jobs, then finally got into real estate. I made a life for myself. I wasn't rich, but I was stable. Safe. Then I met Jared. He taught 4th grade at the school where my niece went. We met at her school's reading week event. I came in to read to her class, and he was the teacher. He was funny. Had one of those voices that made kids pay attention. After the event, we talked by the parking lot for almost an hour. I gave him my number. He called me that night. It moved fast. We went on 5 dates in 2 weeks. He told me he'd never met someone like me. He said I made him feel calm, that I gave him hope for the future. He said his last relationship broke him, his ex left him after he lost his second job. I felt bad for him. He seemed like he just needed a break. He was living in a shared apartment with another teacher. His car was barely hanging on. He said he was tired of feeling like a loser. I didn't see him that way. After 6 months of dating, he moved in with me. I knew he had debt. He was upfront about it. Over $80,000 in student loans. He said it embarrassed him. He told me his parents couldn't help him through college. He changed majors twice. He was stuck in a low-paying job he liked but couldn't grow in. He told me he'd pay it off, it'd just take a long time. I told him he didn't need to carry it alone anymore. That we were a team. He cried when I said that. The first year of marriage was quiet. We went to work, came home, had dinners together. He liked watching crime shows. I'm more of a cooking competition person, but we took turns. He brought me flowers a few times. I started to think, maybe this is what a real partner looks like. We got married in a small backyard ceremony. Just 30 people. I paid for almost all of it. He said he was embarrassed about not being able to help. I told him it didn't matter. He said, "I'll take care of you someday." I believed him. After the wedding, he started asking about refinancing his loans. Said if we knocked them out together, it would save money long term. He couldn't get approval on his own, but with my income and credit, we'd qualify. I co-signed. I paid off the full amount in 8 months. $82,764. He was so happy. He even said, "This is the first time I've felt free in years." I was happy too. I thought we'd turned a corner. But things started to change. He got weird with his phone. Wouldn't leave it out. Started spending more time in the office after work. I'd ask what he was working on, and he'd mumble something like, "Just catching up on lesson plans." He was still polite. But colder. Less kisses. Less "I love you." Less laughs. Exactly 1 month after I made the last payment, I got served with divorce papers. I thought it was a scam at first. Then I saw his signature. I called him, straight to voicemail. I texted, "Please tell me this is a mistake." No response. I left work and drove straight to his school. His classroom door was locked. I asked the front desk, and they told me he called in personal emergency leave. I went home. His drawers were empty. Some of his clothes were gone. So was his laptop and a few other things. I opened the laptop on the desk. He'd used our desktop computer a few times to transfer files. I remembered I had set up iCloud Sync when we were trying to connect his school email to the printer. And that's when I saw the messages. He didn't log out. His iMessages were open. He'd been talking to his sister, Tara. Nonstop. 4 years. I clicked back through the chats. I felt like I was watching my marriage die in front of me. 2 years ago, Jared, she's got money. If I play this right, I can get out clean. Tara, you better not screw this up. Be patient. Don't act distant. Jared, she thinks we're building something together. I'm just waiting for the debt to clear. A year ago, Tara, do not marry her until you know she'll pay off the loans. I don't trust her. Jared, she will. She's obsessed with being the rescuer. She thinks she's saving me. Then. Jared, I feel sick. I don't even like kissing her anymore. Tara, you're almost there. Get the house. Get half the savings. Then you'll be set. And worse. Jared, she offered to pay it all off. I'm gonna play grateful. Cry if I have to. Tara, manipulate her guilt. You're good at that. I couldn't breathe. I printed everything. Hundreds of screenshots. Every lie. Every date. I didn't tell him I knew. I waited. When we got to court, I was quiet. His lawyer made him sound like a victim. He entered the marriage under emotional distress. She used money to control him. She isolated him financially. Then came Tara. She looked me right in the eyes when she said, my brother tried to leave, but she trapped him. She dangled her money over his head. The judge asked if I had anything to say. I stood up. Walked to my bag. Pulled out an envelope about an inch thick. I looked straight at Jared. He went pale. Then I said, your game ends when I show the judge what's in this envelope. The moment I handed that envelope to the judge, everything in the room shifted. The judge didn't say anything right away. He opened the envelope and started flipping through the pages. His eyebrows tightened. He didn't even look up for a full 10 minutes. Jared was squirming in his seat. His lawyer leaned over, whispering. Tara stared straight ahead like her soul had left the room. The judge finally looked up and said, this is substantial. He turned to Jared. Did you send these messages? Jared didn't answer. His lawyer stood up. Your Honor, we would need to confirm the authenticity of those screenshots before. The judge cut him off. I see names, dates, account details, and timestamps. These appear to be pulled directly from iCloud Sync. They align with financial records. Then he looked at me. Do you have proof of the payment you made toward his student loans? I nodded and opened a second folder. It had every bank transfer, every wire confirmation, and a list showing how each payment matched the same day Jared sent messages to Tara about getting closer to the exit plan. The judge flipped through that too. Then something happened I didn't expect. He called for a recess. Told everyone to reconvene after lunch. Outside the courtroom, Jared tried to follow me into the hallway. Wait, he said. Can we talk? I turned around. I wasn't scared. I wasn't even angry. Just hollow. You talked enough, I said. To her. To your lawyer. To everyone but me. You don't get it, he said, rubbing his hands over his face. It wasn't supposed to go like this. I stared at him. You used me. You lied for years. You had a choice. He looked around and lowered his voice. If this goes to criminal court, I could lose everything. I didn't say anything. Then he leaned in and said the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. If you drop the case, I'll give you the house. Like it was a trade. Like he was doing me a favor. I walked back inside without answering. When we got back into court, things escalated fast. Jared's lawyer requested that the messages not be admitted formally until they could verify their authenticity. The judge didn't go for it. He said, "Mr. Darnell, your credibility is already under question. Your wife provided full documentation and synced iCloud records. If you believe the messages were fabricated, we can escalate to a digital forensics expert." That's when Tara lost it. She stood up and yelled, "This is all her fault. She set him up. She knew what he was going to do, this is revenge." The judge banged his gavel and told her to sit down. Her outburst got put on the record. Jared just stared at the floor. He didn't defend her. He didn't say anything at all. Then came the next twist I didn't see coming. My lawyer had filed a motion the day before, something we hadn't discussed in full yet because we weren't sure how the judge would respond. The motion was for marital fraud damages. If granted, it would not only stop Jared from taking anything from me, it would give me the right to recoup the money I spent on his loans and legal fees. The judge looked it over. Quiet for a long time. Then he said, "We'll need further testimony, but based on the preliminary evidence, I'm inclined to allow the motion to proceed." Jared's lawyer looked like he was about to pass out. That meant I wasn't just walking away clean, I could come after him for everything he owed me. But it wasn't over yet. After court, I got a call from a blocked number. I don't usually answer those, but I picked up without thinking. It was Tara. "You think you've won," she said. Her voice was cold. "You don't know half of what you've started." I didn't say anything. She kept talking. I protected him. "You want to ruin us both over some screenshots? You'll regret this. We'll both go down swinging." I hung up. But I had a feeling that wasn't the last threat I'd hear. Later that week, I got an anonymous email. No subject. No name. Just a Dropbox link. I didn't click it. I forwarded it straight to my lawyer and a courts-appointed forensic team. Whatever they were planning next, I was already ahead of them. But the fight wasn't over. Not yet. The day after court, I checked into a hotel across town. I couldn't be in that house anymore. I didn't feel safe. I started seeing shadows where there weren't any, kept checking the locks even though I knew I was alone. Every creak made me sit up straight in bed. My stomach felt like it was full of bricks. Jared and Tara had shown they weren't just liars. They were planners. Calculated. Patient. They spent 2 years preparing for this. I couldn't take anything for granted anymore. Then things got worse. My lawyer called me that Friday morning. He sounded tense. He said, "You're not going to like this." I braced myself. Jared's team filed an emergency petition to freeze my assets. They claimed I had manipulated him into marriage for financial gain, and now I was retaliating by using evidence gathered without consent. They said I accessed private communications and used illegal surveillance. That's when it hit me, Tara must have tipped them off to the iCloud account. They were spinning it like I had hacked him. They even tried to file for a temporary restraining order, saying I was harassing Jared with threats of financial ruin. I couldn't believe it. They were playing dirty now. Desperate. Throwing every accusation they could think of to muddy the waters. The hearing for the emergency petition was set for Monday. Over the weekend, I met with a digital forensics expert that my lawyer referred me to. She was sharp, late 40s, glasses, zero tolerance for nonsense. She combed through everything on the desktop computer. She found a goldmine. Jared had backed up his iPhone to the shared desktop 6 times over the past year. Which meant I didn't just have messages, I had access to everything that was on his phone during those backups. Including deleted conversations. There were texts to an unknown number labeled C that hadn't shown up before. The messages were bad. Worse than the ones to Tara. "Jared, she paid the loans. I'm free. Just gotta wait out the legal crap." "C, you think she'll fight it?" "Jared, nah. She's soft. Always wants to be the good guy. C. So when are we moving in together? Jared, once I get the house. She owes me for wasting my time. There were photos too. One of Jared in bed, shirtless. The bedroom wasn't ours. The timestamp? 3 weeks before he served me the papers. I knew now, Tara wasn't the only one helping him. He had someone else. A whole other life waiting on the other side of my money. We went into that Monday hearing armed with everything. But before the judge even started, his assistant walked over and whispered something in his ear. The judge paused, then said, "Mr. Darnell, we've received new materials related to this matter. I'll need to review them before ruling on your emergency motion." That new material? It was a flash drive we submitted 20 minutes before the hearing, containing every text, photo, and timestamped backup. Jared's lawyer asked for a recess. They got 30 minutes. When they came back, the emergency motion was quietly withdrawn. But the judge wasn't done. He scheduled a formal evidentiary hearing to review the potential fraud, and mentioned, on the record, that this court is beginning to see signs of a coordinated deception with malicious intent. Which meant, now, criminal charges were possible. Tara didn't show up that day. We later found out she'd been suspended from her job. HR had opened a full investigation into ethics violations tied to her involvement in her brother's scheme. Turns out she used her company laptop to help Jared write the financial distress affidavit. Her company found the metadata in the file. I thought that was the end of it. But 2 nights later, while I was still staying at the hotel, I came back from dinner and found a white envelope slid under my door. No name. No handwriting. Just a flash drive inside, with a post-it that read, "Check this before court. Thought you should know who you married." I almost threw it away. But I plugged it into my laptop. There were 3 folders. 1. Before you, screenshots of Jared's online dating profile, active the whole time we were married. Messages with other women. Photos I had never seen before. 2. During you, text threads from his second phone. Messages to Tara, C, and several others. They all showed him bragging about me paying off his debt, calling me the wallet. 3. After you, plans to move to Nevada with someone named Chelsea. Rental applications, emails with a realtor, even a vision board PDF titled Freedom Life. Whoever sent that to me knew everything. It wasn't Tara. It wasn't Chelsea. It was someone inside his circle. And they wanted me to bury him. I sat on the edge of the hotel bed with that flash drive still warm in my hand. Whoever sent it knew Jared better than I did. They had access. And they wanted to make sure I saw everything. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even feel hate anymore. I just felt focused. I spent the next 2 days building a final case. My lawyer and I made labeled binders, one for the judge, one for opposing counsel, one for the court record. Every file, every screenshot, every dollar, every lie was in there. I printed out the photo of Jared's Freedom Life vision board and taped it to the inside cover. When we walked into the courtroom, Jared looked like hell. He had bags under his eyes, hadn't shaved, and couldn't meet my gaze. Tara wasn't there. Her lawyer had submitted a letter stating that she would no longer be participating as a witness and had retained her own criminal defense attorney. The judge took his seat, opened the binder, and flipped through it slowly. He didn't speak for a long time. Then he looked at Jared. And he let loose. "Mr. Darnell, this is one of the most disturbing, premeditated examples of marital fraud this court has ever reviewed. You entered this marriage under false pretenses. You exploited your spouse financially, emotionally, and psychologically. Your sister's involvement raises serious legal questions. As of now, her participation is under active review. You will receive nothing from this divorce." Then the real hammer dropped. In addition, due to overwhelming evidence of calculated fraud, You are hereby ordered to repay the full $82,764 in student loan payments. Restitution is to begin immediately. Further, this court is referring your case to the district attorney for review of potential criminal charges. I felt the entire courtroom shift. Jared blinked like he'd been slapped. His lawyer didn't say a word. He looked just as shocked. I should have felt triumph. Relief. Something. But what I felt was a cold clarity. He didn't just lose the case. He lost everything. And karma was just getting started. 3 months later I got a certified letter from the DA's office. Jared had been formally charged with marital fraud, attempted grand larceny, and perjury. He took a plea deal. Avoided prison, but was placed on probation for 5 years, had to pay full restitution, and had his teaching license permanently revoked. I heard he moved back in with his mom. Chelsea never moved to Nevada with him. She cut contact once she found out about the court ruling. Tara was fired. Her former employer filed a civil claim against her for misusing company equipment during a legal fraud case. She settled out of court and went silent. As for the anonymous flash drive? About a month later, I got a text from an unknown number. Hope it helped. I used to date him. Saw him destroy another woman before you. Thought maybe you'd finish the job. That was all it said. I never responded. And me? I sold the house. I wanted to start over somewhere fresh. I bought a small place in Astoria, quiet, close to the water. I stopped working 7 days a week. Started cooking again. I took a ceramics class. I made a bowl that looked like hell, but I still use it for keys. And I went to therapy. That was the part one didn't want to admit I needed. Not just because I let someone lie to me, but because deep down, I wanted to be needed so badly, I ignored every red flag. I gave too much. Trusted too fast. But I also learned this: being good to someone doesn't mean you deserve to be hurt. And revenge doesn't have to be cruel, it can just be truth. The truth set me free. And it destroyed them. I didn't trap Jared. I just let him walk into his own cage, and I held up a mirror while he did it. And if you're reading this, and you're with someone who makes you question your instincts, your worth, your peace, check the messages. Trust your gut. And keep your receipts. Always.